up? Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to Build Series Part 3 of the Badass Row. So, at the Home Depot here, pulling up. I gotta grab a few things. This is a flooring episode. What do they got up here? They got a bunch of tents. They got Loctite, they got Gildan, they got a bunch of stuff. That's pretty cool. So yeah, gotta grab some flooring and some paint supplies. We're gonna get started on the floors on this thing. Let's do it! Woo! So here's the cheap vinyl flooring. This one I absolutely love, but it's so busy. I don't think that's gonna work. So what I was looking at is the one up there, the Canadian Hoon Oak. I think that's the perfect one that should match the carpet that I'm gonna put on the sides. Maybe the white maple too. I actually like that a little bit more. Yeah, I'm gonna go for the white maple. I'm gonna grab two boxes of it. I shopped around. This is the best deal I can find, $179 a square foot. So I'm gonna grab it. Don't have my color in stock. I'm gonna go and try to find someone and see if maybe they have any in the back or up there or something. Hopefully I can find some. They have a second color that might work too, which is this. So it's the Alpine White is the one I want, but the Alpine M or the White Maple is the one I want, but the Alpine Elm would work too. They do have teak in stock, but it looks like an old, like an 80s house or something. I don't know. It looks too plain. It doesn't look like teak to me. So I'm gonna go see what I can find. Alright, so I was in there for probably trying to chase the flooring lady down for probably, I don't know, 20 minutes, man. She was helping one person and then helping another, and I didn't want to interrupt, and and then she was walking off, so I had to chase her down real quick. So yeah, those the two colors I really wanted were special order only, and they would have taken like 2 weeks to get here, so I was like, I'll just get something that they already have. It's not as, I don't like it as much as the two other colors, but it's okay. It'll work. It's just a floor. I can put a carpet over or something. It's not that big of a deal. So yeah, I definitely absolutely recommend vinyl flooring. I had laminate in this before, and yes, it's much cheaper. You can get it for like 69 cents a square foot versus the $1.69 that I just spent. So that's a lot of savings, when you add it up. Small van like this, you only need 2 boxes. Big van, you need 3 boxes. So that adds up pretty quick. But if you think about it in the long run, the laminate flooring here only lasted 2 years. Whenever it gets really humid, or if it gets wet, it swells up really bad and it warps and it looks really bad. And if you get enough dirt in there or any kind of food or anything, it'll mold. It'll mold really bad. So then you got to tear it all out and replace it. So you might as well do it right the first time and spend a little extra and get the vinyl. Look at the Sprinter with the side ladder on it. That's a 4-wheel drive one. I can tell by how tall it rides. Or maybe it's not. Maybe they just lifted it, but it looks awesome. So last night, I went in and cleaned everything up out here the best I could with a rag and a brush, and it's as good as it's going to get. So I've got these little rust spots, and it's just surface rust, and I've got these holes where I drilled through that's bare metal, which is going to rust eventually. So I've been soaking a can of Rust-Oleum spray paint, which kills rust and prevents rust, in hot water for a while, because it's kind of cold out here. It's about 55, I think. And I'm going to give it a few more minutes, and then I'm going to spray this. And then I'm taking note of where the water pooled up and where the dirt pooled up and everything from under here before. And I'm actually going to paint that with waterproof paint. And for some reason, I went in and blocked everything off with tape. And this is the only piece I haven't removed yet. Looks like there's some bare metal under there. And I don't think that's a good idea. I think leave everything as open as possible. Let it breathe. right, so we got the first coat on. Actually, the last coat, because I'm only going to put one coat on this. It's just enough to seal it up. It's not to make it look good. But I made sure I went over everything and used the roller. It makes it way easier and the paint way more even. So I went over everything a couple times to make sure it's nice and even and there's no big parts that are going to take forever to dry or anything. It just looks better that way. If you're going to do this, do it right. You know, it just feels so much better. So this spray paint that I painted back here is all dry now. So I've got my sealant. And this says to wait for 2 to 4 hours before painting over it. So I am going to adhere to that. Alright, so this piece here is done. I'm going to put these 3 pieces up on here and get the edges real quick and touch up anything that I don't feel got full coverage. And I think the seals in here are dry. All that sealant that I put in. Yeah, I think it's dry enough to paint over. Wait. Yeah, it's dry enough to paint over. So I'm going to paint all the areas in this with the mold-proof paint. And then just let this thing dry overnight, and tomorrow I can throw it in. Alright, so it's now the next day. Paint's all dry, looks good. Check that out. It's kind of off-white, it looks weird. It's alright, I'll be all covered up. So, next step, I'm going to take this insulation and lay it down. So, I'm going to put this down and then lay down my freshly painted subfloor, mold-free. Check it out. And then put the new flooring down. And I actually pulled this out last night because I like to pull it out and let it air out so it doesn't smell so bad. And just check it out. This is not click and lock. When I went to Home Depot, I said, "Hey, do you guys have vinyl click and lock flooring?" And the lady showed me this. This is see this spot right here? It's glue. So I've got to glue these. I've got to like press fit these things together, and then press them down. And I had to buy this thing, which is pretty burly. I actually really like this thing. It was like $40, but that cut into my budget quite a bit. So I really didn't save that much money by doing what I did, because this is almost the cost of a box. So I might as well have just bought nicer stuff. So when I went to go buy this, I looked and I was looking to see if there was something else. And I would have had to spend, I guess, a little bit more money for something that looked nicer than this and was click lock without buying this. But I'm going to need this for the carpet that I put on the paneling anyways. Okay, so the subfloor is in. I did miss a piece. I don't know where the piece that goes back there is. I have no idea. So I guess I'm gonna have to look for it and paint it real quick. Okay, for that missing piece, I can't find it anywhere, so I got a better idea. I was gonna use these as templates for the new paneling, which is gonna go all the way up. But I've got well, this isn't a perfect line, but I've got a square here, so I'm just gonna cut it out of this. masterpiece is complete. So I messed up here, and this looks really bad. And unfortunately, this was my last piece, so I can't redo it. I really wish I could have done a better. I don't know how I messed up, but I messed up bad. It looks horrible. But luckily, this piece will be totally covered up. So the rest of it looks good. It's all intact. Up here works really well. I'm actually going to get an aluminum rail over this, so I wasn't too worried about this edge. And it messed up here too. But it looks pretty good. All the spots where I messed up are going to be covered up anyway, so that is a good thing. I kind of lost track of time. I was listening to the Dead by Sunrise, Chester Bennington's second, or I guess third band that I know of. So I gotta get this roller out and get to work on sticking the stuff together. My impression of this stuff is it's a little more difficult to work with than like real click and lock. This glue stuff, especially this next part's gonna kind of suck. But I don't. Next time I'll definitely go with the click and lock stuff. I'll just pay a little extra for it. I needed the roller anyway, otherwise I would have returned it and got real click and lock. But it looks good, and it's gonna be waterproof, and it's gonna last a long time. So. Yeah, I guess that's good. Thanks for watching, guys. Love y'all, sir.